Bankruptcy can be an unfortunate thing, but sometimes it's a necessary thing for people who've gotten themselves into a hole and need to dig their way out. And a lot of the time, it's going to impact the way in which you might want to buy a home in the future. Assuming that that decision was made to file bankruptcy, complete the discharge, and now you're looking to create a plan to buy a home, there are certain timelines if you're looking to get conventional type of financing. So I'm just going to talk briefly a little bit about how to plan for that. So first thing is there's different loan programs that have different seasoning requirements. In other words, timelines in which from the date of the discharge of the bankruptcy that you can actually apply and possibly get approved for a home loan. So let's just talk about two different ones. So the first is going to be FHA loans. So FHA loans are going to be a little bit more lenient if you did have a bankruptcy in the past. The timeline requirements for that are typically 2 years. However, 1 year is allowed with extenuating circumstances. And basically what extenuating circumstances means is that you have to prove that there were circumstances that took place that were beyond your control that caused the bankruptcy. And a good example of that is if there was a death in the family or something like that that had maybe taken you away from your job, and it has to be properly documented and reviewed by an underwriter. A little bit more challenging. The most common way is a financial mismanagement, or the most common other category is financial mismanagement, which again on FHA would be a 2-year seasoning requirement. Now, if you're looking for a conventional loan, it's a little bit more strict. So the timeline for financial mismanagement is about 4 years. Well, it is 4 years. And if there are extenuating circumstances, in some cases, they'll allow it at 2 years. Again, with proper documentation and similar. So they're going to be looking at all the pieces of the puzzle. One of the main assumptions here, though, is that you have gone through the steps to rebuild your credit as well. So obviously when you file a bankruptcy, you may have had a 700 or a good credit score before, and it might have dropped to 500 or below or what have you. So now what you really want to do is you want to create a plan that's going to allow you to build up that credit so that by the time the seasoning period is passed and you're ready to apply, that you have an appropriate credit score. And then one of the things that you'd want to do, because it's hard to get credit and rebuild it right away, a great tip would be to go into a credit union or to a bank and start with a secured credit card. And what that is it's a credit card that basically you give the bank your own money, which maybe you give them $1,000, and then what you get is a Visa or MasterCard allows you to charge on that card and use it as a credit card. And what it does is it allows you to reestablish a credit history. And that is a great start at doing that. Possibly having you just want to show that you're rebuilding and you're using some credit. You don't want to go out and start overextending yourself and repeat the same pattern. But definitely be watching your credit score, subscribe to some type of credit monitoring system out there that will allow you to get a copy of your credit report and your score, so that over those few years, whatever loan program you're in, you're able to see how you're improving and where you need to be to qualify for a loan as well. So talk to a loan officer well in advance to find out where your score needs to be. All right, hope that helped.